Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Greenroom with PV3. And I cannot tell you how excited I am about this two-part episode with my good friend, Sean Cannell. I have not done a two-part episode, but in the midst of what's going on in the event world, understanding how to digitize and actually do digital stages is so important. I'm preaching to our community the power of your own digital stages, but I'm also preaching to your community, our community, the power of being on OPSs, other people's digital stages. Today is dedicated to one of your own digital stages, which is creating your own YouTube channel. And I've got one of the leading authorities on this that has done it completely organic. And so I'm so excited because in the midst of what we're facing with COVID-19 and the impact that it's having on in-person events, I'm excited for Sean to dive in today on what you need to do to really begin to launch your own YouTube channel. So enjoy today, and we'll see you on the back end.
All right, everybody, it's PV3. We are inside the green room, and we are taking a look at something different today. I'm so excited to be with my buddy Sean. Like, Sean is the go-to person on YouTube. He's who I call when I have questions on YouTube. I just looked at his channel. 900, did I see 996,000 followers, Sean? Is that right?
Yeah, we're about to cross 1 million today as we record this podcast.
And so Sean's going to give you the playbook on how to do that in the next 24 hours. No, I'm just joking, everybody. But no, seriously, yeah, you heard me on the intro talk about him. I love this guy, heart-centered, unbelievable. And I really believe our community listening, whether you're running events or you're a speaker, I believe if you can understand YouTube and how to use it and use it powerfully, like it can make a significant impact on your events. It can make a significant impact on you as a speaker. And so I'm going to dive into that today with Sean. We have talked to nobody about YouTube because this is the guy that I wanted to talk about. So Sean, welcome to the green room.
Pete, thanks so much for having me. Love you, the movement, everything you guys are doing with Advance Your Reach. Fired up to be here.
Man, excited to be here. So give everybody a little background. I call you, Mr. YouTube, but give everybody a little background on just you, who you are, and then how did you get into the becoming so known in the just with your YouTube channel?
Yeah, today we have the #1 best-selling YouTube strategy book in the world called YouTube Secrets, across a couple of different YouTube channels, approaching 2 million subscribers. Have a few different projects and have worked with a lot of top leaders, business influencers, nonprofit leaders, faith-based leaders, helping them with their YouTube strategy. But of course, I didn't start there. And, when you take it all the way back, I started video in 2003, volunteering at my local church. And I was just serving in the youth ministry. And I started making videos. And Pete, your first videos, always true, are your worst videos. Yeah. Like when you get started in video, you have to just be willing to put out some bad videos. And it was crazy because in 2003 was me starting to do weekly videos for my youth group. And thank God no one can see those because they were actually lost and gone somewhere really before social media and the internet started. Fast forward a few years, 2007, we started a YouTube channel for our church. And being in a small town kid, an hour north of Seattle, volunteering at this church, it was pretty progressive that we were doing that. And that's 2 years after YouTube started. YouTube started in 2005. So really, I've just kind of been there since the genesis, not just trying to also, if you will, market our church, get the messages out, serve people inside and outside of the organization. Then I started helping business owners a few years later, started a company called Clear Vision Media. And then fast forward to today, I've built a personal brand, and there's been all kinds of different things interwoven in there, but I've clocked over 30,000 hours of either creating content for YouTube or behind the camera, in front of the camera, training, studying. And so YouTube is my obsession, and I love helping leaders master YouTube so they can grow their influence faster.
Man, that's incredible, dude. I'm thinking about so many things. So first off, a lot of people know that, who was it? Good to Great, right? Said 10,000 hours. No, it wasn't Good to Great. Was that Good to Great? That wasn't Good to Great.
Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell sort of put a spotlight on the rule.
That's right. It was Malcolm. So I apologize for that. Wrong credit there. But I want you to hear something. We're talking to somebody who's they say you're a professional, like you're amazing at something you do when you say you can have logged 10,000 hours. And so a lot of the times on the stage, I'll say, I've logged 10,000 hours talking to meeting planners, understanding meeting planners. You just heard somebody say they've logged 30,000 hours. So might want to pay attention today. I'm excited because if it can help a local church, if it can help a small business, it can help all of us. So here's what I want to know. Because I don't know this. Like this is truth to me, and it will be truth to me. I'm going to take your word as truth because I know you're an honest guy. What's the data or the numbers or the why YouTube? Like what is the make a case for YouTube for us? Like, can you make a case?
Yeah. So right now, YouTube has over 2 billion monthly logged in users, uniques, that have Gmail accounts around the world. YouTube's in over 88 countries with like native language in each of those countries. And here's the thing, YouTube is the #1 video site on the internet, the #2 most visited website on the internet, and the #2 largest search engine on the internet, making YouTube distinct from other social media platforms. When it comes to building your influence, YouTube is a content library. It's a search engine. Therefore, when you want to establish thought leadership, as many people inside of the green room do, when you want to be known for your proprietary process, answering people's questions, you can establish that on YouTube in a way that you can't do anywhere else. Every other social media platform is a content feed. It's here today, but it's gone tomorrow. It just keeps pushing down. You might go live, get some viewers, but nobody's watching that stream on Facebook Live 2 weeks later, and especially not 2 years later. Tweets are being pushed down. Instagram is being pushed down. Instagram stories are gone in 24 hours. And I love all of these platforms, but YouTube is the only platform where your content lives forever. When you do it right and you put out evergreen, really based, powerful pillars of your brand, your process, your thought leadership, how you serve people, how you help people, it builds a library of content and really a library of influence that can bring you, really, people talk about passive income, which it leads to that, but it brings you passive traffic and passive awareness. The second part of the case I would make is the fact that I believe that knowing YouTube is a free platform to use and the #1 most important video site on the internet, I think it's irresponsible for any personal brand, business owner, meeting planner, anyone that has a prominent event that they want to build the brand of that event over the next 5 to 10 years, it's irresponsible to ignore YouTube because YouTube's the dominant video platform. So you want to establish your presence there. And here's a case study, Marie Forleo. I believe she's kind of become the Oprah of entrepreneurship, and especially pertaining to YouTube. And she started 7 years ago with a show called Marie TV. And she just committed to putting out weekly content on YouTube. And yes, there's benefits of search and videos can break out, but more than anything, it is a pillar of influence. She has an award-winning show. Where's the show live? Not on NBC or ABC. It lives on YouTube. And so we should pay attention and create a game plan and a strategy for building our influence, our brand, and establishing our thought leadership in our category, becoming category king, leveraging YouTube.
Yeah, I think the thing that stuck out to me the most there is the only time you see an old post pop up like of a video from like 2 years ago is when the actual creator of that post goes and puts a comment or tries to get a few comments to engage it to bring it up. But literally, you're not paying attention. And I've never done this, but I just went and typed my name, and you probably have some other tricks, but I just went and typed my name into YouTube, and I'm like, man, cool. The first one is like, I don't know what that is, but 500 people have watched it. 4,200 people have watched a podcast. A couple of thousand people watch my podcast with Mike Dillard. Man, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't even know where a lot of this stuff is. 7,000 have watched a live stream that I did with Lance. I have no idea how it got on YouTube. Maybe he repositioned it on there, but it's really cool to see. And like, I literally have no strategy on YouTube. And so that's why selfishly I get to go behind the scenes with the guy who does. And so let's dive into that. Like, that's such a solid case. All of you out there, I'm a big believer in making a case for what you stand for. Sean does a lot of things. He uses Facebook, he uses Instagram, he uses all that. but he's got a strong case for YouTube, just like we have a strong case for stages. And so one of the things I want to make sure is that you have a strong case for whatever it is that you are taking out there. And so, Sean, what about the events? We have a lot of people who are listening that run events. They run their own types of events. Like, how can they begin to use YouTube more powerfully?
That's great. And I've got some tips because we're running our event. And so obviously we're using YouTube very intentionally to try to grow our event. The first tip would be, don't use YouTube to try to grow your event. You need to create free, valuable, evergreen content to simply build goodwill and trust with your target audience on YouTube when you're not marketing something, when you're not promoting something. So kind of the first pillar is what a lot of times what happens when we want to promote an event or a product or a launch is we think about creating content just during that launch time. And you want to be creating content all the time. In a way, it's almost like constantly cultivating your tribe, your community, constantly adding value, staying top of mind. So the first question to answer would be literally, how could you create a weekly show? You know, podcasting is a great case for that as well. This is a great opportunity on this podcast to stay top of mind, add a ton of value, connect with people, and then you have a chance to talk about other things. So rather than trying to do one-off video or just a few videos to grow an event, I would start by thinking, how can I add value to my target audience year-round? And a couple ways you could also do that is, in some of the things we're doing, we are posting either snippets or the complete keynote of certain sessions of our previous year's event so that people can, you know, try before you buy. They can taste and experience that, but also globally, people can get value out of that content. But beyond that, we're doing, we have a video podcast now called The Think Marketing Show. So it also lives on YouTube. And so by videoing our podcast, we can tap into both things. We're interviewing our speakers leading up to our event, doing snippet interviews of the ones coming up. So to say, hey, by the way, they're going to be there, but also adding value. And that's probably the recipe I'd want to emphasize, Pete, is that rather than just doing a conference promo, which that's great too, you want people to experience, see the vibe, see the B-roll, see that. You want to meet them with value and then get the opportunity to educate about the event, as opposed to just blatantly marketing the event. Promo videos only do so well, but valuable content that truly serves your end target audience works so much better. And then it gives an open door to then say, hey, by the way, this is brought to you by our event or whatever that is in the video, or give a direct call to action.
Yeah, man, that's good. So you do that. So you're putting out content, you're putting out snippets of last year, you're putting out maybe somebody's keynote, you're doing that. But when your event comes up, which is in September, the event, remind me the name.
Grow with Video live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, if you want to grow with video, I encourage you to be there. So like you're doing all of this year round, you're doing that. Do you make any type of direct promotion to your event as it comes closer, like the whole Gary V, like jab, jab, hook?
Yes. So the probably then second pillar is when you have, this valuable free content should be leading to subscribers, leading to trust, leading to your tribe growing, leading to growing your platforms that you're sharing content on. I mean, you definitely want to have a promo video. The first asset we leveraged was a recap video that was done about a week or two after the previous year's event. And one of the video testimonials said, do not miss 2020. And we actually don't even have this year's promo video done. We're leveraging last year's recap video. And not only is that a native upload to YouTube, but then also we'll use that same video asset. I know the topic is YouTube, but we'll post that on LinkedIn natively, meaning not linked to it, but upload it directly to LinkedIn. We'll turn it into an IGTV. We already have, it's posted on Facebook as well. And then of course, this is kind of maybe a third tip is I think paid traffic is extremely relevant. And I know many meeting planners and event planners are leveraging that. You can turn that promo video into an ad. Of course, on Facebook, you also could do YouTube ads, and YouTube has very powerful ad targeting opportunities for specific videos, keywords, countries, different things you might want to narrow down to hone in on who your search intent, a lot of different things. And so, yeah, using that promo video. as well.
So, because I'm so intrigued, and there's some questions we're going to dive in, because I'm going to take you behind the scenes here, not just inside the green room, getting insight from somebody who almost has 1 million followers. And oh, by the way, the video of mine that comes up with the most views is the one I did with Sean. So let's take a clue here. And by the way, a lot of the people who I'm in video with have even bigger followers than Sean. Like we think of our common friend Lance, he's got bigger followers in some areas, but Sean's video with me was by far the most views that I've seen with the name Pete Vargas. And so tip 2 was create like more of a promotional. I heard tip 3 is run ads. So tip 2 is create some type of promotional around the event.
Yeah. So tip 1, weekly free content that's just adding value of some kind. Tip 2, then it's basically, to your point, right hooking. Here's just sign up. The event's awesome. Check out how cool this promo video is. Go buy your ticket. And then tip 3 is running paid traffic on that video or alternative types of promos, meaning I think experimenting. I think that maybe a rut or kind of a blind spot is, I think as meeting planners, what we want is the video that makes the event really cool looking.
Yeah.
And like flashy, wow, look at the lights, look at how much fun people are having, look at how epic the stage shots are, look at the speakers we're going to have. I think that is a piece of the marketing, because people do want that great experience. But I also think that even that marketing can get a little bit tired. So I've seen some people or be almost incomplete. There's I think something powerful about you just speaking from the heart about what makes your video different. I saw someone recently just driving in their car, that Tesla vibe, so they didn't have to hold the steering wheel or whatever. And they were just like saying, hey, our event's coming up. Here's why it's different than other events. Here's why you should come. And it's sort of hitting from multiple different sides. So that's maybe then tip number 4 is when you're promoting your event in 2020 and beyond, don't ever rely on a single piece of creative. You hire videographers, you hire, people with the fancy cameras, and you have them shoot your event. You pay thousands for it. They edit it. They put amazing music. That might not be the video that ends up really getting the views and even traction and consumption for your event. Because actually, a lot of people have seen that stuff. But maybe it's when you get real and raw and talk directly to your phone and just talk about, look, the reason I started this was to solve this problem. And you just share from the heart and you invite people. But here's the point. It's not either or, it's both.
Yeah.
And so try different promotion types. We're talking about YouTube, but try across the board. So some of the things we're doing to promote our event this year, we're giving away a couple free tickets. That's also kind of cross promoting if you review our podcast, which is also giving awareness to our event. I'm doing live streams where I will choose a piece of content just to teach. Therefore, I'm leading with value, but then throughout it, I'm just saying, hey, this is brought to you by our event, and then educating about it. So again, it might be a 30-minute training where I share my screen and reveal some stuff about YouTube analytics or something, and then give calls to action to the event. That's probably under number 4 is the idea of like always be talking about it. Weave it in to your streams, to your podcasts, to your YouTube show, to a random YouTube live stream you do. Give some tickets away, win 2 free tickets to your event, make that a YouTube live stream or a giveaway video you do. Just do not rely on a single piece of content or promotion, but think about multiple different ways that you can really be canvassing your community. By the way, with value. And let's bring up a point to hammer this home. There used to be in marketing the rule of 7 or the law of 7. And that was that you had to be exposed to a marketing message 7 times just for it to stick. So people would buy ad spots. Crest toothpaste would buy ad spots on radio with a jingle to try to get a sticky jingle of getting you to buy Crest and not Colgate because you heard that radio ad 7 times on your commute. And so that principle of marketing has been kind of considered that's why it's good to do an Instagram story, have a YouTube video, send an email. But Think with Google released new stats that it now takes 21 to 24 touches to generate a viable sales lead. And so that's the new era. That's why it's multiple pieces of content, multiple touch points, and just a lot of repetition. You may feel like you're promoting your event too much, I probably think you're not promoting it hard enough. And you think that people are being overwhelmed with the messaging. You may get 1 or 2 emails, but the majority of people haven't even seen it yet. You might have been shouting from the rooftops for a month. Well, they were on vacation for 2 weeks. Plus, they don't use this platform. Plus, they weren't paying attention. And then eventually they're like, oh, wait a minute, that's in my city? So just thinking about like a slow and steady promotional campaign, leveraging video and other methods, and finding multiple touches, because someone might even be like, dude, I so want to go to that, but they forget to buy tickets that day. And if they forget, it's no longer top of mind, but if they're like, oh, that's right, thanks for the reminder, and hitting it maybe from heart, as you would, hitting the head, the analytical reasons to go, the heart reasons to go, and just hitting it from so many different touches. Google's telling us, look, this person needs to hear about it 24 times. And they wanted to go on time 12. They just forgot. And the world is so noisy that the conversion hasn't happened yet. So don't be afraid to promote it multiple times. Thus, having a 52-week content plan, having a YouTube show, Marie Forleo, is super relevant, because you want to just be constantly in community with people, adding value, being able to seed whatever your projects are, but especially your event.
I don't know if I've spent more time on YouTube than I have right now with you. Like, I'm blown away. I'm just looking at a lot of Sean's stuff. I'm like, Sean's got almost as many people following him as Grant Cardone. I'm on 10X the stage next week. As you know, I'll be out in your neck of the woods, and I'll be seeing you hopefully out there. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. But here's the thing. Like, okay, cool. Like, I know, Katie's shooting me. We're going to do something cool today, everybody. I'm gonna put the pressure on Sean. People put the pressure on me when I'm on a stage a lot with not much notice. I'm gonna put the pressure on Sean just to kind of say, what would you do if you were us? Because here's the thing. Look, this thing right here, although our podcast listeners aren't seeing the video, we got this video right here. And I can't tell you, Hindy's on here. My full-time videographer is behind the scenes just to make sure everything's good. Hindy and I shoot tons of video every single month or 2 months, like tons, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 content pieces consistently. And I'm like, yeah, but we have no presence on YouTube. And here's where it hurts right now. This is where I'm at. In September, I was at an event in California, and Patrick Bet-David, is it Patrick Bet-David? Do you know Patrick? Patrick,
killing it on YouTube.
What's his last name?
Patrick Bet-David.
So he uploaded his keynote. I'm assuming he's the one who uploaded his keynote from the same place we spoke. Same conference. I would have uploaded it, and I might have gotten a few views. First off, I didn't even upload it, which is like, crud, why didn't I upload it? Probably I could do that, but we're going to go behind the scenes here in a minute. But he uploaded his, and it's got 1,020,000 views.
Mm-hmm. Digital stage.
1,020,000 views. Like, if I could have 5,000 views with every talk I do out there, like I'm right now on my phone watching my talk last year from Cardone's Growth Con. And I'm thinking it might've been good to put it up here, or at least edit it or chop it up or do something. Like, are you kidding me? So here's a question that everybody wants to know. And then we'll get into the speakers right after this. Cool, Sean, I can do that. I can commit. I create content. I can put something out there. But how do I make sure I get eyeballs on it? And point 3 talked about running ads. I guess it's two-part question here. Why don't I hear more about YouTube advertising? Because I don't hear it often. So I'm assuming it works. I'm assuming it ROIs. I'm assuming it helps. And then the second question, which is the bigger question I have for you, is like, cool, I start putting stuff out there. I could do that. We could do that every week. Katie's like, we should probably have this right here with you out there. Yeah. Probably on our channel. And it doesn't have to be just for the purposes of Inside the Greenroom, and we're not doing that. And we'll get to that. We'll get behind the scenes of me specifically. But can you answer those two questions? Like, how do I talk about the ads platform, but also talk about eyeballs that are organic? How do I begin to get more eyeballs? I just build it. They don't come, bro. And I know I have great content. Like, there's no question. And we've seen that with the people who are hiring us, who's working with us. But I feel like if I just put things out there for 52 straight weeks, like I feel like maybe this is a limiting belief, but I feel like, is it really going to grow? Because that's more work on my team. We have a content strategy on our team. I haven't been able to pinpoint scene like this is doing a lot for the business, but it does take a significant amount of time on our team. So I can't point back. We got dashboards reporting all of that. I can't point back to a lot of ROI. I'm just being real and authentic on this. And so if it's taking the team this much time, but it could take them this much time to maybe go do something else that has a big impact on the company, that's kind of where my mind thinks. I haven't tried it with YouTube, so I just want to be fully transparent. It's a content strategy to our current community. So you're feeling some of the pain point in my voice, but I'm also probably a representation of a lot of people out there. So maybe speak to those two things, the ad side of things and the organic side of things. How do I get more eyeballs on it, more followers?
Yeah. So kind of question one, and I'll summarize it by saying this. I really believe that most entrepreneurs and business professionals and business leaders are still sleeping when it comes to YouTube. You're saying why? Couple reasons. One, I think because it's just not understood. Two, I think it's forgotten. I think that it's not even considered social media by some people, although it is a social platform. So people think, oh, I mean, Facebook, Instagram. Three, YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. It's a long game play. It's a build your brand play, and it does not give as quick dopamine hits as going live on Facebook or going live in a Facebook group does. And that's valuable. Going live on Instagram, oh, cool, there's 22 people on here and someone DM me and I just made a sale. Great. So it's real. That's really like hand-to-hand direct response in a way. And I'm seeing results. Meanwhile, I just uploaded a YouTube video and I had my team do it and it only got 13 views and I had nothing happen. So the ROI must be on these other platforms. Well, no, it's just that YouTube. And then number 4, under first point, it does take more energy. You do need to set up, and I'll break down a system that doesn't have to like overwhelm and you can keep it streamlined, but you got to commit to just doing it right. Some people also, they go, I just go do my Facebook Lives. I just lob them up on Facebook. I just re-upload them and they don't do that great. Well, you didn't like reverse engineer the platform. You kind of just, in a way, you disrespected the platform. Therefore, the platform is not respecting you with the results that you're getting. So let's go into point 2. How would you grow and what would I give as advice? On the simplest level, I would recommend Inside the Greenroom be a video podcast. Kerry Newhoff, I was on his podcast, big in like kind of the leadership space, faith-based space, huge volume of listeners. And we were just talking about, and I was like, why aren't you necessarily putting video on YouTube? I go, well, I get you just record online and whatnot, just kind of the audio only. And he goes, well, actually, I've recorded every single podcast I've ever done on Zoom. And I go, wait a minute, Kerry. You're telling me on your computer is every single recorded Zoom call in video format for your podcast, and it's just sitting on your computer doing nothing. He said, that's what I'm telling you. I was like, Kerry, it is irresponsible for you not to at least. And I was like, and here's the deal. If those only get 100 views or 150 or 300 per upload, well, you weren't getting that audience anyways, and you've already made the content, bro. So you should at least get the 300. Point 2. Then what's going to happen, though, is when you upload episode 10 with Francis Chan with just the right title, not even necessarily investing a ton of energy. You just get lucky because it's like the right timing, the right title. That episode is going to get 5,000 views. And then week 25, that episode's going to get 32,000 and be watched every year for the next 3 years to come because YouTube's the only place where your content lives forever. So by simply just committing 101 to doing a video podcast, when you hook up with people in person, set your phone up, set up even just a GoPro or a simple camera or roll with Jared and film. But so I'm about to go to social media marketing world. I'm going to be shooting video podcasts the whole time. 2 little handheld mics, little Zoom H4n recorder, and a camera. I have a videographer with me, but you could just put a camera on a tripod. And now it's in video mode as well. And I'm going to keep going, but let me just kick it back to you. Like, that's just 101. That's like, I'm not saying that's going to change the whole world. I'm saying now it's not going to have to put a huge stress on your team. There's just a few smart tweaks to get a weekly video podcast up. And that's what we're doing at Think Marketing. We want to upload other channels. That was the second channel we started, just a place for our video podcast to live. And we committed it to being a video podcast. Therefore, we have a guaranteed weekly upload. And Spotify, Apple, these are not search engines. So there's different strategies podcasting over there, but YouTube has a whole nother dimension of discoverability. It has a whole nother dimension of of, again, an evergreen playlist. People are YouTube Red users like me use YouTube for audio. It's a whole culture where if Lewis Howes has a video podcast, Jay Shetty has a video podcast, and Joe Rogan is like the godfather of video podcasting. And you think about the fact that if someone's podcast is not on YouTube, I'm personally offended. Now I'm the YouTube guy, but I'm like, dude, I'm not even gonna watch the video. I just use YouTube the most. I wanna click subscribe. I wanna start the audio with my Bluetooth headphone on YouTube. If you make me go to Apple, I'll go there, and I do. But again, it's just another distribution platform. So that's 101 of how you can get in the YouTube game without even going into a lot of the different strategies we teach. And if you were to say, I want to sit down and actually record strategic videos, the other thing of course, keynote, repurposing content you already have, there's some lower energy things you could do to get some great results off YouTube before we move into like intentional strategy stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely eye-opening for me too, man. Like really, really eye-opening. So how, and maybe you said it in there. So how do I get the eyeballs on my content?
Here's like 3 ways. There's a lot of, I just recently did a talk on 20 hacks that will revolutionize YouTube hacks that will revolutionize your business.
Is that on YouTube?
Beyond. It's not. That's like one of my, but I'll give you a couple of those.
Okay.
101, YouTube is a search engine. So it's different than other platforms. So therefore, if you even go to YouTube right now, Pete, and people listening could pull the car over, could set down the dumbbell, could, have the dog sit and open up your phone. You go to YouTube, start typing, and what do you see? Now, you know what you see in Google and YouTube. Like, what do you see when you start typing in the search bar?
I just see a bunch of different titles. And so this is what another thing that's I just started doing, design your signature talk, because we represent that. And you just see what everybody's put or other things. And I'm on here and I'm like, 3,000 views, 5,000 views, 1,000 views, 29 views. It's like, what? Like, why don't I just go dominate that search? And maybe that's what that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So step 1 is you want to identify what are your personal keywords. Just like everyone listening is identifying, they know their signature talk. They need to get clear on who they help, how they help them. They know their proprietary process. Well, probably it's going to be real estate investing, REO, whatever. For you, it's going to be storytelling. It's going to be, speaking on stage, overcoming fear of public speaking. It's going to be a lot of things like that. So you want to identify and do, if you will, the keyword research. But one great way to do that is you can just type in public speaking into the YouTube search bar and then put a space after it and see what other search terms, and those auto predictions is what we're looking for. So if anybody pulled over or whatever, and you go to the YouTube, type in kind of your niche or topics around your niche, and put a space after the word and different phrases of it. And then YouTube will finish your sentence for you. So it might be like, again, if you were in fitness, how to lose weight fast without dieting. It'll start giving you what really become your video titles and what really become the, at least, concept around the type of videos you should be making. And this is just kind of a surface level of doing keyword research. But what you see is that the top prediction from YouTube is the most trafficked search, and the lowest one would be the least. But when it even gives you something, that's actually telling you that humans around the world are looking for information on those topics. So we say it like this, Pete, you got to research before you press record. One of the reasons people make mistakes on YouTube is they just drop content there like it's their Facebook feed, thinking that it'll just get distributed because people know them. No, you need to do research first. That's going to determine how you title your video, how you tag your video. But honestly, more than that, it's actually going to inform exactly what you talk about. Because now imagine if you were to type in public speaking and it's maybe how to overcome the fear of public speaking. Or think about this, maybe it's like what to wear on stage. Like you start discovering terms, and now you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to try to repurpose a talk and title it later based on what I didn't exactly talk about. But now imagine you go, look, speaking on stage is scary enough, but what do you wear? I mean, what's actually going to be the most flattering? What's going to not blend into the background? Don't wear don't wear patterns, and you deliver some tips. Those could really, really help you give you an insight and inform you on what videos to actually create. And that's a lot of what we teach. We help people find the right video ideas as well as the biggest opportunity in their niche. But I love what you've brought up here on the video that we're looking at is we're seeing all these different video ideas.
I typed public speaking. I did a space. So you're telling me public speaking tips is the number one thing that's searched after the word public speaking. Is that what that means?
Yes. And then training, but then think about anxiety. Anxiety could be a whole series on how to overcome anxiety and get out of your head. But let's try this. Go ahead and put go back to public speaking and go to the beginning and put an underscore space in front of public speaking. And if you're doing this at home on a desktop computer, take your niche or your keyword and if you do an underscore space, it'll put it into a sentence. So how to overcome fear of public speaking. Now we see how to not get nervous public speaking. And if you want to get crazy, Pete, in front of that underscore, put an A and then change it to a B and then change it to a C. And we've got unlimited video ideas figuring out your genius, your topic. But what kind of video should I be making? I'm bringing on a guest. How should I so I figure out the titles of our videos and our content and even our podcast, because it's a video podcast, before we press record based off the principle of research before you press record. So you're creating the exact content people want to see.
So when I type like public speaking tips, why does it not every time does it give me the ones that are the most viewed? Does it not bring up the most viewed, or how does that work whenever you do that?
So the videos that rank don't necessarily rank because they're the most viewed. They're being judged off their click-through rate. That's going to be influenced by how good the thumbnail is. The title, which is also going to influence the click-through rate. So it might be a newer video with less views, but the velocity of the video because of the thumbnail and the title. But really the most important thing is minutes matter most to YouTube. Not views, but minutes. So it's one thing to get views. Wow, cool. That could be 1 second. But a minute is someone dwelling on the video for at least 60 seconds. So if you want your video to surface, when my friend and mentor, Chalene Johnson, says it this way: be brief, be bright, be fun, and be done. So we were just studying some public speaking tips videos. What are the top ranking videos? We saw some were 8 minutes, some were 9, some were 12. What are they teaching? If you were going to try to be, which by the way, this is the holy grail of the whole thing. You want to be the #1 ranked video or on the first page for your topic on YouTube. What's that worth to you? And by the way, if that takes a year or 2 years of consistency while you're committing to build your brand there regardless. Because the other angle we should hit here, Pete, is the Marie Forleo strategy. It's not just the outreach, it's the inreach. It's saying to your core tribe, hey, look, every single week you will get consistent value from me on YouTube. 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, our video podcast, doesn't matter. And you send that email newsletter out, you send that social media out, and you commit to the process. Magical things happen on the journey. Viral videos break out. Some videos go disproportionate. You get an idea, you make a one-off, but it's in the consistency of even just building the goodwill and trust of people saying, dude, you're my go-to expert for learning stages, speaking, and I'm subscribed. And these are no miss videos because every week you sharpen the saw a little bit more. And what's that worth? So that's the long, if you will, the big picture of YouTube. And then in the meantime, we can do all these tactics to maybe try to rank for just a public speaking video. And maybe in that one, public speaking tips, you sit down and you study the top ranked videos, share your own tips. It took them 7 tips. You're like, you know what? People don't necessarily want more. They want it simpler, clearer. So just reverse engineer what did they do and what could you do, and then create that video and launch it, and I think we're running out of time, but like when you launch it according to our proprietary process, get as much traffic as possible, optimize it. That's, our genius is ranking videos. At any given time, Think Media gets around 3,000 views every 60 minutes. It's not because I upload new videos on my channel that my brand continues to grow. And a lot of people don't even understand the sleeping giant underneath the brand Think Media. It's the fact that we have a library of ranked videos that I've committed to this process. So therefore, when I'm on vacation with my family, when I'm speaking in person to 500 people, I'm speaking online to
Yeah.
3,000 people while I speak to 500 in person on autopilot, because YouTube is like your clone army, Star Wars fans. I've cloned myself multiple times. And now these individual robot clone videos of Sean are like, hey, let me add value. Need a problem solved? Let me help you with this. Want to go deeper? And then, having that wrap into the entire customer journey. Am I saying it's easy? No. Am I saying it's worth it? Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, like speakers, he's been speaking to you too in about, because I want to finish this thing off strong. We've probably got like 7 minutes here. What's the advice that you would give to speakers? Because you've obviously, what you've been talking about is definitely advice for them. But what would you say to those that are listening, that are speakers or presenters out there? What would your advice be to them, Sean?
Well, I'd say this, not every speaker wants to be an author, but we broke Amazon with the #1 best-selling YouTube strategy book for no question, because of our YouTube audience. Yes, the email list that we built, but also the email list we built from leveraging YouTube leading up to it. So I would think that I would say a couple things. #1, think about the longevity of your brand. It's kind of like musicians now. It's like, okay, yeah, even you're good at music, but what's your social media following if the label's going to sign them or not? Even movie stars, hey, what's your social media following? Because we know you're also great, but how could you also help us promote this movie? So maybe your book's solid, great. If you feel like you have too much money, too many leads, too many opportunities, then you shouldn't do anything else. Like, life is pretty dang good for you. But if you want to future-proof your brand and position yourself not just for ROI today, but really for being the go-to expert and the thought leader in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and even just having consistent. When I think about big brands, they have YouTube channels. I think about, Eric Worre in network marketing. He's the biggest network marketer. He's also got the biggest YouTube channel. When I think about Tony Robbins, he's got a YouTube channel. Brendan Burchard's got a YouTube channel. Jack Canfield, he's got a YouTube channel, adding value, standing outside, talking about dreams. Marie Forleo, Jay Shetty. I mean, you think about these Mel Robbins. She films on her phone, got a YouTube channel, doing challenges and doing give backs and stuff to her audience. It's going direct to consumer, and it's going direct to your community past the stage that you're actually speaking on. So I'd say, think about your legacy. I would then think about expanding your business. When people can subscribe, stay engaged with you week by week, you will drive more sales, sell more event tickets, sell more books, sell more products and programs and services, sell more products, raise more money. It's influence, period. And so by committing to building your influence there, and then, the third thing, it kind of ties into legacy, but I just say I view it as body of work. I honestly view YouTube as a portfolio to be proud of. You were mentioning it. You've got these great talks, this great history. You're building legacy in the content you're sharing. If there could be, the behind the scenes stuff you could share, the moments you can share, and thinking about building that archive. It's one of those things when people are looking for who are they going to trust, they might look at your contacts and credibility on LinkedIn. They might look at your social media following. They look at your YouTube library, and it's a way for them to say, oh, wow, there's a real portfolio of depth, not just influence, but like authority.
Yeah.
And so I get it takes energy. I get that there's a lot on your plate as a speaker listening to this. I get there's a lot to do. I hope I've made a case to say you can't ignore it. Find a way. Do it in a minimal level. If you're just shooting on your phone, upload. If you look at Mel Robbins, I don't think she's got a team helping her. She's just live streaming from her phone, super basic. There's simple levels you could engage in this, but I would say if you're really playing for brand and legacy over the next 5 to 10 years, put your money where your mouth is. Just get help. Yeah. Hire, the quote unquote D-Rock. And I'm talking about a shredder. I'm talking about a shooter, producer, editor. And by producer, I mean they understand YouTube as well. So that's a dynamic person. Don't get me wrong. That's one of the things we're passionate about, training up. We want to raise up because we think the new era is someone who doesn't just know how to edit, doesn't just know how to shoot, but also knows how to title videos, how to optimize, and how to even think about the big picture. So they're potentially coaching you to say, hey, remember, give a call to action and have people like the video. Like if you like the video, like it, question of the day. Like they're thinking about the hook. They're thinking about those things. It might take you time with our help and individually to raise that person up, to find that person. But look, we got time. I'm saying make strategic chess moves today so that your YouTube game is on fire and you have unstoppable momentum in your business in the next 12 to 24 months.
I love that, man. This has been incredible. And so here's what I want to do. Like, listen, because of time, I want to head to the speed round and finish this up. But this is what I want to do. I am going to schedule some time with Sean to go behind the scenes. This was not planned. And I'm going to have him go behind the scenes of us. So we've got Advance Your Reach, the company. You've got Pete Vargas, the brand, like the personal brand. You've got Inside the Greenroom, which is all around building our meeting planner community. You know, Sean, you're going to be at Reach Live. We have 60 meeting planners confirmed as of today. We'll have close to 100 there live and virtually. You've got Pete and Kim's new initiative called the Not So Perfect Plan. So you have all of these moving parts. The first three, tons of content every which way. You've got live streams and keynote talks and a podcast every week and weekly content video shoot with my video guy every month. Like I want to do something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do an additional training with Sean, and I only want, instead of making this part 2, I want to see who's interested in YouTube. And so Sean, I would love to provide that training as a thing that they can download and a free resource that you might be able to give to them as well, that you and I can go behind the scenes of me. And I just want to see how many people are actually like really interested in the YouTube, this YouTube vehicle, because I'm extremely intrigued. I know it's been eye-opening for me today. And so we're gonna set that additional training up, but make sure you go to InsideTheGreenRoomPodcast.com and you will find out more details about that there. But I'm going to get that shot with Sean. We're going to knock it out of the park. And by hearing what he speaks into us, it'll be as though he's speaking it into you as well. And we'll make sure that there's an incredible resource. Any resource come to mind, Sean, that we can attach with that training?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to do it. I mean, the book, YouTube Secrets, we certainly have that. And then we've got, our masterclass and things like that is available as well. But in the meantime,
I'll figure out with Sean what's the most powerful. So you'll get the training, something from Sean, and man, I'm telling you, it'll be phenomenal. So Sean, I want to end this with the speed round today. So the speed round, obviously, you know that this is Inside the Green Room. Question number 1, who is a speaker that's made a big impact in your life when you heard them on a stage?
I got to pick out 2, and my background is I was in a lot of ministry in church, so I was at a lot of church conferences. I think that those are some of the best speakers in the world, if not the best. And so for me, TD Jakes and Judah Smith.
Wow. Yeah, dude, first time I went to hear TD, I just blew my mind. And then I took my youth group back to go hear him as well in Dallas. We drove there to hear him. So I love that. Who are some speakers that are up and coming that the world needs to know about?
For me, I would say Heather Torres. She's actually the Chief Operation Officer at Think Media. It's been stunning. She's spoke on our stage for 2 years now. She's about to speak in Vegas, and she's getting invites places now. No joke. I know it's important to believe in our people, and that's just a good leadership trait and to, sharpen. But I see a calling on her life without question. I think you saw it too. You called that out when we were at MIA. And man, she's on fire, but I am nervous in a good way for what's going to be happening in her life in the next 3 to 5 years.
Man, I cannot echo that one enough. Like, she is a rock star and a powerhouse and a kind person. If you're looking for a powerhouse to come speak, like, listen, Sean's awesome, but he's got some team as well. Hey, in this world of online, because obviously YouTube's online, Facebook, Instagram, and I know you're doing a live event. Why are live events so important?
3 things. Number 1, personal connections. I just think that And the beauty of the internet is someone who is isolated, maybe somebody who's having health challenges, somebody who can't travel, can have, I believe, authentic connections with others. That's the power of the internet. However, there is nothing that is as powerful as in person. And I think that we're seeing the stats. I mean, from being on our devices and behind our screens so much, it's not leading to a better quality of life. It's leading to increased anxiety, increased loneliness, increased feelings like that. So I think the in-person connection is more powerful than ever before too. It's a spiritual principle where two or more are gathered, there I am with you. That's talking about Christianity and the faith and kind of like God's presence. But that spiritual principle is active no matter what your background or what your belief is. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talked about it. He talked about the power of the mastermind. He said, when you just put two people in a room, a spark is lit. When you get more than that, then there's a collective energy that begins to build. And then I also just think experience, number 3. You can't, no matter how good a live stream is, it's still just a little window on your screen. I don't care if it's 3D. When you get to actually walk into the room, feel the energy, meet the person next to you. And I really believe it's not just information that changes us, it's experiences that change us. And so there's so many things that are not just taught, but they need to be caught. And if you're really perceptive, you can catch a lot by taking notes off the recordings of an event, but you can be, I've found, changed at a different level, activated in your spirit, your heart, by getting to an in-person event. I believe in in-person events. I mean, shoot, just like you, I went to like 25 last year, probably too many, like 25 plane. Like like full, and I stayed. That was like me there for like 3 days. That's a lot of days. But I love it because events have changed my life. And so I will continue to go.
That's awesome. And then last question, man, I love that. What is a cool experience that you've had inside a green room before?
So inside of a green room, a couple of things I've loved. I honestly have not met too many bad people. I think what I've mainly met is I've seen that people are really genuine and great people. I love seeing that the superstar, how they feel on the stage, is real and authentic and will look you in the eye and care about you. It's not always been the case, but like actually more than not, it's been amazing to just see that like they care about you and to get that experience. To get wisdom. I've been able to like turn my phone recorder on because someone just starts breaking something down. But maybe experience I wanted to highlight was Kajabi Impact Summit. They had a makeup artist. That's not that original. But that person would also tweeze your eyebrows. That's maybe not that original. They would cut up your hair a little bit. So now it's getting kind of fancy. I'm trying to think. They had eye drops to like in case your eyes were a little bit red. And it's still just the tip of the iceberg. All the food and kombucha and details you could need, all the like fix your clothes if you need to stitch your clothes. So all of those things met. IVs, if you wanted to get an IV rehydration or B vitamins, that was the tip of the iceberg. And then just kind of an overall fun experience in the room. So I thought, man, this green room has got it dialed. Like they will make sure you look right. You've got a haircut. You've got your wardrobe fixed. You've got, in case you need some hydration, we'll stick a needle in your arm and literally give you an IV. And so props to Kajabi Impact Summit for all that.
Yeah, and actually you took me back into that green room because I was there to come see you and all of that stuff, plus the fact that the people that were in there were crazy.
100%. That environment. And those were some of the conversations that I were recording because I was like, dang, I'm sitting across from this person and they're breaking down their business. So it's powerful.
That's why we want everybody in the green room. Hey, Sean, today's been incredible. I know we got something else that we're going to shoot, but final thoughts for everybody out there that's running events, that's speaking, that's a brand. What's your final challenge to all of them out there?
I mean, I just want to say to all the event hosts, I wrote down a couple of things, Pete. I'm not trying to go long, but here they are, rapid fire. Number one, I just think being a speaker, I know you're one as well, do as much as you can to make them feel loved and welcomed. Anything you do to go above and beyond and go the extra mile will make a difference. And if you treat your speakers right, they'll want to come back. I think the church understands this the best. We call it honor. And so, I get picked up from the airport, little basket in your room, a gift. And that stuff can seem excessive, but when you've left your family, it's like, man, I just feel more welcomed. I feel the details matter. I think introing them well and setting the atmosphere. I've been on stage and they're like, and the next speaker is Sean. All right, Sean, go ahead. And you're like, well, go shoot. Like, I mean, and so, I mean, promo videos can help, but like a good intro can make or break the atmosphere being receptive to people there. So just intro your speakers well, be thoughtful on that. Control the room energy. Please do not have 200 seats in a room of 66 people. And really add and remove chairs and honor the speaker and honor your event and honor the people there by keeping energy high, by controlling the room energy. You don't need a lot of people to have a lot of energy. You just need to be intentional and think about that. And then lastly, please set up speakers for success. This is me. I'm venting, by the way. Good confidence monitor, good AV. Come on, like the clicker actually works. The mic works. And then, you know, good sound, just whatever, because all of those things, and you know, as pro speakers, we know that like you can just roll with the punches. You're like, all right, slides aren't working. All right, there's feedback. All right, we're just going to roll with it. That's our job as speakers, to be able to adapt to anything. But as meeting planners, man, when we don't have those friction points, at Chalene Johnson's event on the confidence monitor, as I close, Pete, on the confidence monitor, they had two. One for your slides, one for your upcoming slide, but one was to give you a message. So as I was finishing, they said, welcome Kelsey back to the stage. And so I'm up there, boom, like any other speaker.
Wow.
Hey, next, like, all right, hey, thank you everybody. And let's welcome Kelsey back to the stage. And it was seamless and there was a flow. Everything was dialed in, AV, all those things. I think that as I summarize on that final thought, when all of the details come together on a great event, it's magic. When the speakers and the meeting planners and the details and the heart and the energy and the intangibles and the tangibles, when you're thoughtful about all those little details, that's what I believe creates a memorable, magical experience and can set your event apart from other events.
Dude, I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who has more followers than Mel Robbins, Marie Forleo, Brendan Burchard, and many, many others on YouTube specifically. I hope that today served you. I hope that you'll take it serious. And Sean, thanks for being with us today.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
What an incredible episode. So incredible that we're taking action, we're moving forward, and we're launching our own YouTube channel. Like, listen, I don't have a YouTube channel. I relied on a lot of physical events and I did a lot of digital stages as well, but YouTube was not one of those. It is a gap and it's a void for us. And the fact of so many nuggets of like, it's a search engine, people are constantly looking, some of the tricks that Sean showed us. Like I was on my computer playing around as he was teaching, and I hope that you were doing the same. And so I'm so excited because our next episode with him next week will be him taking me behind the scenes on us launching our channel. And I hope that it inspires you as you see what he does for me, that you too will be inspired to do it for you. So I can't wait for part 2 of this episode. Really want to encourage you to go to Inside the Greenroom with PV3. All of the resources, our giveaways, everything is there. And man, I appreciate all of the reviews and the ratings on whatever platform that you listen to this. I see them every week. It means the world that you take time out of your day to listen to me. And so, you know, we want to continue to provide value. Let us know at our website. Let us know what you want to learn, what you want to hear in the midst of events being hit. What can we teach you? Who can we bring to you? We will bring them. So once again, we will see you for part 2 next week.